Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Appreciate all your support. Let's go. I thought this is interesting, especially with the CBA coming up. If Caitlin Clark's Fever realized title dreams, WNBA will win big. I want to talk about this one. Um, the Indiana Fever have championship expectations this season. Caitlin Clark has already made that explicitly known. Battling for a title will be a big step up for the Fever after a 2020 finish last season. After all, Clark is only a 23-year-old entering her second year as a professional. However, Indiana made significant changes to the offseason to justify the lofty expectations. Now, to that, I want to say quickly, because I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people talk about how, well, it's not going to happen this year, right? They're building to it. And under normal circumstances, I absolutely agree with the the WNBA, CBA negotiations and that coming up and a lot of players signing 1-year deals. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's going to be, I think, um, and they may re-sign players, but when you look at like the ages and the length of being in the WNBA for players like Duana Bonner and Natasha Howard and Sid Colson, and then you got the CBA and all of that. I think the Fever are going to be a much different team in 2026. So, yeah, I mean, they may not have said before, like, oh, we're putting together a roster to win a title this year, but that is what they're doing. That is the goal. I mean, it should be the goal of every team every year, but clearly this is a roster to win a title now. Luana Bonner obviously wants another title. I'm sure she would love to get a title this season and then call it a career. Not saying she will, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do win a title if she would call it a career. So yeah, this is 100% a team gunning for a title. Absolutely. I know people are talking about, oh, they got to take steps, but this is not the team you're going to see in 2026. Um, like I said, they brought in the new coaching staff. Now it's wild. 2023 Coach of the Year Stephanie White, added veterans: Luana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner. Lots of veterans. It's not a young team anymore. And look, they say to the young core, but Kelsey Mitchell isn't young anymore either. Okay, I'd say she's in her prime, but this is season 8 for Kelsey. But it's interesting, and I don't want to get sidetracked, but if I can just say real quickly, because she was Coach of the Year in 2023, but like the reason I'm not 100% convinced with Stephanie White, and like I said, most of what I heard is great. So don't take this as all I'm bashing Stephanie White. But in 2023, when she got Coach of the Year, it was a Sun team that won 27-13, 675 winning percentage. The year before, they were 25-11. They actually had a higher winning percentage of 694. Obviously, they played a few more games. But and the year before they went to the finals. In 2023, they only got to the semis, right? She inherited a team that went finals, semis, semis, finals, and then didn't get them back to the finals. And this was kind of the same thing in Indiana. She inherited a really good team for 2 seasons and did well off of that, and then that was it. There was no long term. She's inherited and very good teams and didn't stay very long. And that's kind of why I like, okay, I want to see what she does with this Fever team going forward, and hopefully it works out where she stays more than 2 years. Maybe she, becomes one of those Phil Jackson type things where she stays for Caitlin Clark's career, which would be interesting. So the main thing we were lacking last year was experience, adding really great vets like Bonner and Sid and Tosh and putting that experience around us of not just being in this league, but also winning. They have the championship pedigree, Clark said at a press conference Thursday. And I want to say something about that, if I may, because we're hearing that a lot. The vets, the vets, the vets. And yes, to a degree, that is important. But I think they brought in, for me, and I'm not saying they can't win a title with this roster, but I think they overhauled a little too much and brought in too many vets. And they're like, there's too much emphasis. Oh, well, we need the vets because they're going to teach us how to win, and that's how we're going to get a title and all of that. And Sometimes that's necessary depending on the players, but I'm going to be able to use a very, very recent example of why it's just kind of words that are said and sports cliches, but when you dig in and think about it, it kind of falls apart a little bit. Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champs. Thank you. Pat on the back, reigning champs. Sorry, Cowboys fans who are listening. They had the best defense in the NFL, one of the best defenses, period, in a long time. Absolutely dominant defense. Won a Super Bowl. Rookie Cooper DeJean returned an interception for a touchdown at a moment that it was kind of like, oh, well, yeah, we got a lot of game to play, but that just sealed things. You know what else that Eagles defense was? It was the youngest defense in the NFL. The best, the youngest, and they won a title. So let's not get vet help just for the sake of vet help. I mean, that's a lot of vets that they got, a lot of vets. And I'm not sure that they needed them all. As I'm doing this video, I'm still looking. I'm thinking they're not going to do it on Mother's Day. I'm looking to see who that final cut is going to be. I'm guessing it's Jalen Brown, but you never know. I'd rather. I mean, anyway, we'll see. So, what's interesting, what they're getting to is due to the change, the Fevers have the second best odds to win the WNBA title behind the defending champ Liberty, according to ESPN Bet. DraftKings has them tied for second with the Aces. FanDuel has them third. So, yeah, so they're up there. There are a lot of expectations in terms of people willing to put money on it. Although I think there are a lot of Fever fans that are just like, hey, they're the Fever, they're my team, I'm putting money. But yeah, the money is saying the Fever have a legit thing. And now we get into why it's good for the WNBA. Competitive fever team could result in consecutive record-setting seasons for the WNBA ratings. Last year, the league averaged a record 1.2 million viewers on ESPN, averaged 670,000 viewers on Ion, which was a 133% increase from the previous year. We know that almost all of that had to do with Caitlin Clark, who just across everything averaged 1.18 million, while the rest of the league averaged 394,000. So, of course, the further the Fever go, the better it is for the league in terms of ratings. And again, it's a CBA. So, and preseason game, right? With Caitlin Clark drew 1.3 million viewers on ESPN for a preseason game against Brazil. Caitlin outdrew what she averaged last year, so the fan base is still there for the Indiana Fever. And as I said here, a deep playoff run for the Fever could break postseason viewership records. Indiana's 2 games last year averaged 2.2 million viewers, more than 4 of the 5 WNBA Finals games. While the league is experiencing unprecedented growth for games without Clark, that's not true. I wish that's anyway, that's not true. The 2024 WNBA Finals were the most watched since 2000. That's crazy. Also, again, though, that shows that there hasn't been growth in the WNBA like they keep trying to tell us because it tanked in what 2019 or 2020, with everything that was going on, and has climbed back from that. And that's why they only look at the last few years when they want to talk about the growth of the league, because otherwise you got to go back 20, 25 years for the numbers now to match the numbers then. It's absolutely wild. But so obviously with this, and this is where it gets interesting and why I want to talk about this too, is then you get into CBA negotiations, right? Like the better the Fever do, the further they go in the playoffs, the better the playoff ratings are going to be, the better that looks for the players when they negotiate the CBA. Now, I'm sure you're going to have smart people who are going to talk about the how it's just Caitlin Clark and we can't give them all this. But again, let's say now the finals are the finals. But what you got two things going on. The further the Fever go in the playoffs, the more fans that are watching her get exposed to other teams and they may become fans of other players, so forth. But also, if the Fever win that first round, right? And now they're in the semis. The ratings are going to jack up for the other semifinal as well, right? Because Fever fans are going to be like, well, we got to watch this series because we want to win our series, and then we're going to play one of those teams. So it's definitely going to have a positive impact for the the league, for the players in terms of the CBA. Plus, it just gives larger exposure to the league as a whole. And again, that is kind of the whole point is you need to put something out there that the Caitlin Clark fans watching latch onto and they become a fan of the league. Everyone's always going to watch their own team more, of course. But I watch other football games, right? I'm a diehard Eagles fan, but I watch other football games. I watch other basketball games besides the Sixers, and that's what you're trying to transfer those Clark numbers into, those Clark fans into. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it here. Appreciate you checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Especially here's the thing: what do you think if the Fever do make a run? Let's say, not even title, just say they make a run, right? They advance in the playoffs one round, or maybe they do get to the finals or what have you. Do you think that is going to have an overall impact on the league and that the next season, ratings go up more in general because those fans tuning in for Clark start watching more games? And do you think it's going to have a positive impact for the players in the CBA negotiations? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you checking out this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve, and I will talk to you later.